Okay. Let me turn down my music here. So, what's up, guys? Haven't done a video in a while. I actually started a new job, yay! And I've been earning my paycheck in markers. Not literally, but almost. So I've been starting to collect the coveted Copic markers. Is that all of them? Nope. The coveted Copic markers, yay! And this is all I have so far. I've been buying them where I work. I work at an art supply store. I won't divulge which one because that would be rude. Actually, that's not all of them. There's one more somewhere. There you are. And I've also been kind of getting other alcohol-based markers on the side just to see if I can have them all work together and be copacetic, and it's not really working too great. I got the Artist Loft dupe for Copics. It's alcohol-based. This one's actually not too bad. It's got the brush nib, and it's a bit stiff, but I like stiff. I'm one of those people that likes a bit stiffer of a brush tip. And it's got the chisel tip, of course. So, I can appreciate it. It's got very, very thick ink. By that I mean you put the ink down and it doesn't really spread. It doesn't really flow too much. You put it down, there it is, it's good to go. So, it's also, you know, it's kind of a bold color on its own. It's a cool gray. So it's going to be kind of, you know, it's not muted at all. It's still, you know, if you got a cool gray in a Copic, I'm pretty sure it would be just as, I don't want to say bold because it's not really a bold color, but it is bold. But anyway, so moving on. I already had, before I even started collecting Copics, I used to be subscribed to Scrawlrbox, and I can't wait to start up that subscription again because they're awesome. And I have these Graph Master. You can't really see them too well because that one has the label still on there, but the label rubs off. Look at that. Oh my gosh. The label rubs off. The print on there rubs off like instantaneously. Like this one doesn't have, this one's almost gone. The black, of course, is gone. I've been using the black like crazy. There, that's the best one. Can you see that? Yeah. That's the best one I got left. But these are pretty good. You know, they're all they're grayscale, and they work for what you need them for. They're really great. Except they do not have the brush tip. It's just a bullet nib and the other side's a chisel. But their ink is great. I mean, it works really great. It puts down like a good flow of color, like I was mentioning before with the Artist Loft one. I mean, if you've ever worked with Sharpie before and you put down Sharpie, depending on the paper, this Sharpie's just right there. It doesn't really flow or anything like that. It's really hard to describe, and I probably sound like an idiot. I'm sorry. But I could probably see if I can show you what I mean in a bit. But this one's a bit more, you put it down, there it is, but it can be worked a little bit. It did come with kind of like a colorless blender, which is pretty much just, you know, the ink, but without pigment, if that makes any sense. Copic, of course, has their own colorless blender, and I've been told it's basically just alcohol, but I don't know how far I trust that. And I've, of course, used it some already. But, yeah, it's the ink. It's just without pigment, so you use it to pretty much, it's really hard to explain, but you use it to spread and thin out the ink a little bit, which is really hard because depending on the paper that you have, sometimes the paper will start to crumb up on you, or some people call it pilling. And this is a mixed media paper, which is not really the best paper to be using with this. I thought this was a colorless blender. I was wrong. I made a mistake. Oh dear. That's okay. I'll fix that up. So this is the colorless blender, and so as you can see, it's kind of like a sharper edge right there, and it's a bit more blurry right here, but all it really does is just kind of push the pigment away from where you lay the ink in this marker. So it does blend. It's not very clean when it blends. You know, it's not like on Photoshop when you use the smudge tool or anything like that. Sorry, I've got some sinus issues going on, so I've been kind of gross and snotty. But yeah, it's pretty cool. You can make some really cool effects with it. But this drawing I did was just pretty much to play, and you can't really see it too well. It's kind of the camera is doing my drawing a bit more justice than I really wanted. But in real life, this drawing looks horrible. Like, her face is a Cheeto. I tried to get as close to skin tone as possible. I bought 3 Copics thinking that this was the best skin tone that I can get for the moment. And I've got the blush R20, fruit pink. Where are you? There you are. Fruit pink, pale cherry pink, and R11. And the fruit pink, you would think, you know, that fruit pink, that's fucking peach. Sorry, excuse my language, but that's peach, you know? But I got like this weird orange color, and it wasn't pale like you would think, right? It looks pale, but I've been hearing that Copic is so true to the little, you know, what do you call these? The caps, you know, they have the color on the caps, and it's like almost exact, but it's not, you know. This was a lot more orange than it came out to be, so I don't know if maybe I just got a weird one or what, but I was always told they're tested for consistency before they're put out of production, or put into production. But yeah, it just came out weird, and then I kind of kept trying to save it by putting more undertones and shadows with these guys, and it does not look good. I mean, I think I saved it a little bit with excuse me, my white gel pen here. It's the Uniball Signo, and gosh, so all I did was kind of like color in and then take my finger and blot it out just to kind of mute it around. But in real life, like I said, it looks a lot worse. It looks pretty good on camera. So, okay, the reason for this video, let's zoom back out here, because I'm going to be zooming in over in this direction if I can. My discussion of the markers I have: Copics, A, not A plus, A. Graph Masters, A plus, actually. Surprisingly, I should just probably give them an A minus because they don't have the brush tip, and I haven't tried the colors yet. I only have the grayscale because they came in the subscription box, so I didn't have a choice. Not that I'm complaining. I think these are great, and I hope they last me a while because I use them a lot. But yeah, the Copics, they just get an A. They're saved from the A minus because of the brush tip. But let us discuss the tragedy of these guys. And there's another one, I think, too. These horrible, horrible. I'm kind of, it's hyperbolic, the direction I'm going here. if you've ever been shopping for alcohol-based markers, you've seen these, you've wondered about them, you've got that feeling of, maybe I shouldn't, or maybe you were unfortunate and bought them yourself. I hope that you bought them for coloring, like coloring books, because that's all they're good for. And this tip is the only tip that would be good for that, is the bullet nib. Now, I'm just more frustrated that I actually spent money on these, expecting this to be like, you know, this will last me until I can purchase a good set of Copics that, you know, I can work with for a while. I used them last night in this picture, mostly in the sky, obviously, because I only have blue and basic primary colors. And this is the worst outcome out of all of them. All right, I'll show you how it started out on one of the on one of the brushes or the markers that I didn't ruin. Okay, looks pretty normal, looks nice, looks like something you would want to purchase, you know. It's okay. And then all I was doing was just coloring with it, you know, going in little circles, not pushing too hard, just applying color, you know. And that's not the one that I was just showing you. Whoa, where are you? There you are. Oh, my puppy's having dreams. I mean, it's kind of frayed. I don't think you can see that too well, but it's frayed right there. And that. Just awful. Like, I might as well be coloring with a Q-tip at this point. This is so bad. And I only had these for a day. One day, one drawing. This is it. This is all that I used the drawing for. I mean, the markers for was this drawing. Oh, I'm so frustrated. And what sucks the most is the ink is great. The ink is fantastic. Ooh, it looks like they're like, ew, picking up on I don't know what. But the barrel looks like it's dirty already. I don't know. I don't think that's the fault of the marker. That might just be the environment I'm in. I'm sitting at the kitchen counter, actually. But the ink is great. I love the ink. I love the application of the ink onto the paper. Everything was great, except the brush tip. And that just killed it for me. I can't, you know, I can't apply the color if the tip is just a massive ball of fluff. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, I don't know. I'm just massively frustrated. But either I return them and get my money back, or I keep them and I keep playing with them and I learn how to use the bullet nib. And we'll see if the bullet nib actually frays like the brush tip does. That would break my heart, honestly, because then that would definitely have to that would be the breaking point of me bringing these back to the store I got them from and getting my money back, which also sucks because they were on clearance. So there's a chance that I might not get the full value back. Oh no. Okay, so my belly aching aside, so I was sketching Mike Wazowski because I saw the googly eye and I'm like, oh my gosh, I could so draw Mike Wazowski. And then I thought about, well, what if I try to redeem these markers and give them a second chance? Another thing that I wanted to touch on real quick was, as much as I love the Craftmaster markers, they also sent me Craftmaster liners, and there's two more, but I don't really know where they are right now. But it's just as well because this is the size that I usually use, which I'm not too sure the actual size. And Craftmaster, it's S for Sue. And they were awesome putting the ink down, but coloring back over them with more alcohol-based ink, it thinned them out and blurred them terribly. So that drawing that I was vehemently showing you how awful the hashtag coloring markers were, that drawing just rest in peace. But that's okay, because this is just my first real drawing. Well, that's not true. I have another drawing on Bristol board, but that was mostly Copic. Because why not? Mike Wazowski only has 3 fingers, right? Mike Wazowski. And then 3 toes. That I know. Shouldn't go overboard with his toenails, I don't think, because just like his horns, I don't think they're too gratuitous. Let's kind of even his body out. With his design, I really like the proportions that they gave him, because, you know, and they put the eye actually more towards the top, and I think that gave Disney and Pixar, wasn't it? More ability to give him more expressions, because his eyebrow can lift up really, really high and make his eye pop. And I think I made a grave mistake, because I only have 1 green, and that is this green. And yeah, this is gonna be fun. But I've got yellow, and I've got these. They're neutral colors, or rather, actually, I've got 2 neutral grays, and I've got 2 warm grays, and they're kind of, I don't want to say yellow tone, but they do have almost a yellow undertone in them, and I'm gonna see if maybe I can do it up. So I'm gonna turn my music back up, and I'm gonna zone out. I'm gonna stop talking, and maybe in editing I'll speed it up, I don't know. But sit back, relax, grab a cup of coffee, and here we go.